baseball was a great experience. I didn't seek baseball. Baseball came to me. When Jim Bruner, a member of the County Board of Supervisors, and Joe Garciola Jr., who was a practicing attorney in town, came to me and said, Jerry, we think we're ready. There is a tax mechanism on the books that one of the legislators had put on the books a couple of years earlier that's there to fund the baseball facility. And you're the guy who can make it happen. I said, one, I'm too busy. This was right after we had gotten to the finals against the Bulls in '93, when this conversation took place, 3 weeks afterwards, in my offices. I said, no, I don't think so. I'm down on baseball. They were having really tough problems with collective bargaining at that time. And I had really gotten away from it a little bit. I grew up a Cub fan and was tired of waiting for them to win. And after hearing the passion that was in the room, I said, all right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take a look at it. And for the next 6 months, I did. I read a book by a fellow by the name of John Hellier, who wrote for the Wall Street Journal, and it was called Lords of the Realm. And it was a story, it was basically a 101 book on collective bargaining in Major League Baseball. And although it was skewed toward the players in the union, it was great background information for me. And then Don Fair, who is now heading up the hockey union, who was then one of the most powerful guys in sports when he ran the baseball union, I had in my office for 6 hours one day. And then I went out and met with owners in baseball. And I came coming back to one thing, growing up in Chicago, knowing how important baseball was and how much of a family thing it was for kids with their dads and grandparents and what it could do for a community. So, and I was being encouraged by some baseball owners. So I made the announcement, but we almost didn't get there because we needed to have a vote on the funding for the ballpark. And the tax mechanism said we could do what we could do, but we needed the county supervisors to vote. The deciding vote was going to be Jim Bruner, who had his sights on running for, in fact, he had announced he was running for political office in Washington, D.C. And his dilemma was, since it was already a controversial subject in town, public funding for a stadium, and some people were, pretty bitter about the possibility, and looked at the downside, not the upside. Of course, the Goldwater Institute didn't exist then, but they would have been front and center at that time. At least I don't think they were around. Anyway, at the last minute, got down to Jim Bruner having to make that final vote. And he voted the right way because he's the one who came to me. He had to. He did. He honored that. And so we had to vote for the funding of the ballpark. That was one of the conditions to get the stadium, get the team. And so we had some major cost overruns that we were responsible for, put us in the hole right away. I think we built a great stadium. We had a 5-year plan to build slowly with youth. And our model was Colorado. The Rockies had basically done just that. And we had a great pre-sale again. We had 36,000 tickets sold, season tickets the first year of the Diamondbacks. And some of you know the story. We had a contest to name the team for the Diamondbacks. Started off with 50,000 entries in the paper. We got it down, 1,000, 500, 100, 20, 10. Okay, now we're in my office. I have my 9 closest people in the last 2 presentations. And I said, it was the Diamondbacks and the Scorpions. So all the artworks, all the presentations. And I said, look, I'm not voting. here's a ballot for 9 people. You vote, I'll count the ballots. They voted, and it was 6-3 Scorpions, and I said the name of the team is the Diamondbacks.